Shame is what we experience when we all of a sudden realize we are completely and utterly vulnerably exposed to somebody in the root of who we are. That's shame. It shows up pretty early in the Bible. Here comes my nemesis. This is my nemesis, by the way. It shows up pretty early in the Bible, Genesis 2. Man and woman together, completely naked, and they felt no shame. I mean, how does that happen? How do you stand before, I have one of my daughters say, I can't even stand before a mirror completely naked by myself and not feel shame. Not feel a sense of horror. I mean, how do you stand before all of creation, God, humanity, completely exposed, completely vulnerable, completely available for the entire world to see everything about you? What kind of world was that? And ironically, this is in 2:25, okay? So it's the last 13 words. 13? Oh, trust me, that doesn't matter. The last 13 words as the whole creation story is coming to a halt, right? So somehow this whole creation story in Genesis is sort of building up this crescendo, this God's putting stuff, he's creating, there's a masterpiece going on, there's light, there's darkness, there's water, there's plants, there's trees, and you can just feel it building and building and building to this crescendo, and the crescendo just about starts, and then there was man and there was woman, and not only were they good, they were very good, and you could feel this thing building, and he said, and man and woman, and they were both there, and they were both naked, and they felt no shame. And that's like, bam, the culmination of creation. Man and woman, and they felt no shame. Of all the stuff God says he put in the garden, all kinds of stuff he says, I put. The only thing he says I didn't put is that one word. The only thing God did not put in the garden, as far as we know, is shame. And as we come up to this word, this last three, as we sort of come along in this wave, this creation wave, and we come to this sort of cliff, literally a cliff, where God has brought us up to this climax, and we felt no shame. And you can just feel this sort of tension as we're about to fall. We're about to trip into this abyss. Now, from here on out, what's interesting about the Bible is it doesn't really use this word that much anymore. The idea of shame sort of hides. It sort of goes away. But what we see throughout the Bible from here on out are the effects of shame. We see the anger and the jealousy. We see the anxiety. We see the competitiveness. We see the pride. We see all the stuff that shame actually results in. Which is kind of how shame functions. It doesn't want recognition. It totally prefers, like Jeff Port was talking, it totally prefers to hide behind pride. Because if we can name what it is, we can begin to get some control over it, maybe.